You gotta love the remote, man. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Adventures of the Broke and Retired channel. I'm Don. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support you've given me through your comments and your subscriptions. It's been absolutely wonderful. Can't thank you enough. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so and hit the notification bell so you know when the new videos come out. I've been working on the Culture Shock videos, and of course I had the telephone break or telephone problem right in the middle of it, which was kind of a bummer. I'm hoping that doesn't happen today. But it's fixed. It's supposed to be fixed. I took it down to Apple, and they tell me they've got it fixed, so we'll see what happens. It's the first time I really use it for anything of any length since I've gotten it fixed. Now, at the end of the last video, I was having trouble remembering things. I kept drawing a blank. So you're going to see me look down from time to time. That's because I got a piece of paper. I got a piece of paper and I made some notes so I could remember some things. Dang. So I can remember some things to talk about. Now, keep in mind when I came here, I was a 19-year-old kid from a little town in western New York State. There were some things that I was unfamiliar with. I had never been to a Taco Bell. I came down here to meet up with my buddy Gordy, who was working in the oil field. And man, there was oil field stuff everywhere back then. I mean, there was oil field stuff everywhere. The roads were full of oil field trucks. You couldn't ride down the road a couple miles and not see a rig out somewhere. Anyhow, he was working in an oil field, working for Tiger Drilling. And I came down here to meet up with him. I'd never been to a Taco Bell. I interrupted myself, got off subject. I'd never been to a Taco Bell. So he said, hey, man, let's go to Taco Bell. Sure. So we jumped in my car. His car, he had a nice car, but the motor was bad in it. We hadn't changed it yet. So we jumped in my car, and we rode over to Taco Bell, go to the drive-thru, and he tells me what to get. He says, get a Burrito Supreme. You'll like that. I said, okay. So I tell the lady, it's in the little drive-thru box, that I want the Burrito Supreme. I put in his order. And then I told the lady that I wanted a Burrito Supreme. And I said, hey, put some of those jalapeno peppers on there. And she said, excuse me? I said, put some of those jalapeno peppers on there. And she said, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have any jalapeno peppers. We have jalapenos. I said, I don't want jalapenos, I want jalapenos. I'm sorry, sir, we don't have jalapenos, but we do have jalapenos. And I said, well, it says right there on the menu that you've got jalapenos. I had never seen a jalapeno pepper before. I had never seen the word jalapeno before. I don't know if I had ever even spoken the word jalapeno before because we didn't eat jalapenos in western New York State. When I got that the Burrito Supreme was actually, if I remember right, it was pretty good. But I'd never eaten a burrito before. And a Burrito Supreme is a big old nasty thing. It's all full and gushy. And I made a mess. And I swore I would never set foot in a Taco Bell again because it was such a mess and they didn't have they didn't have the peppers that I wanted or that they said they had. Man, the innocence, naivety, foolishness of youth. Anyway, I knew Tabasco sauce existed because I had heard my brother and his friends talking about it. I'd never actually seen Tabasco sauce. It's funny because it's made here in Avery Island in Louisiana, and I love that stuff now. But I'd never had it before. I didn't think it was real food. You know, I thought it was, nobody eats it, right? So it was and down here, I mean, I use a lot of hot sauce now, a lot of hot sauce. I prefer the hot sauce that isn't necessarily blinding hot because, I mean, there's no point to eat it if you can't eat it. But there's a lot of really good hot sauces out there that are they've got the heat of the peppers, but they're very flavorful. They're wonderful to try. There's just so many different kinds. Uh, I've, I've had a lot of them, and most, probably 95% of them, been good. Some of them are so hot that you literally gag, and there's no point to that. That's not. How can you eat it? You know what I mean? What's the point to eat it if you can't eat it? Another bit of culture shock for me was, I posted that video of it raining in Louisiana after being here for all the years that I have been. I'm still sometimes surprised at how hard it rains. In 2016, when it flooded, it rained. What was it? I forget, but it rained straight for like 30 hours at like 2 inches an hour or something. It was an incredible flood. The Amite River went from about 50 feet wide to about 5 miles wide. Anyway, that's not the point. That's not what I was going to talk about. Um, it rains out here. It rains like crazy. But most of the time when it's raining, to be honest with you, most of the time it's kind of it's different. The rain up north is just freezing cold. The rain here is cold, but it's not near as cold. And up north, when it rains everywhere. I mean, if you're driving down the interstate, you're gonna get, if it's raining, you're gonna get wet. In Louisiana, you say you're out on the interstate on your motorcycle, you can look up there and see a big old rainstorm. And if you want to, you just take an exit and go off around it, depending on if you can figure out the right way that it's traveling. But you don't necessarily have to go through it. And if you do have to go through it, if you do get all wet, well, another mile down the road, it's bright sunshine again, and you're going to dry out, except for your butt and your feet. You're going to dry out. So it doesn't really make a lot of difference. Up north, we had blizzards. Uh, Blizzards, if you've never been through a blizzard, super high wind, a lot of snow, super cold temperatures, big snow drifts, roads get blocked. As a kid, never once do I recall losing power because of a blizzard. Now, we lived in Canandaigua, which is about 80 miles east of Buffalo, so we got quite a bit of lake effect snow. But I never remember the power going out during a good thing, because I don't know what people up there do when the power goes out in the winter, because in about an hour, the inside of the house is going to be below freezing, and you got a bunch of pipes that are going to freeze, and freezing pipes is not something I dealt with as a kid either. I remember it happening to my brother one time. He was living in a rental trailer, and his pipes froze, and him and my dad had to go over there and fix it. But I don't remember I don't remember that happening to people. Down here in the South, we don't get blizzards, which I do appreciate, but we get hurricanes. Everywhere you go, everybody gets something, right? Everybody gets something. You go to California, you get earthquakes. You live up north, you get blizzards. You live in the grain belt, the Midwest, you get tornadoes. You live in the Gulf Coast, you get hurricanes. With hurricanes, if you've never been through a hurricane is a different thing. You get some notice that it's coming. First of all, you get a bunch of notice. You'll know for about a week that it's coming your way. You won't know that it's necessarily going to hit you, but you get all these spaghetti drawings on the Weather Channel of predicted travel for the hurricane, and you know how intense, how bad it is. And of course, the longer it stays out over the Gulf, the more intense it gets. You'll start catching the outer bands of rain before the hurricane gets here. That gets everything good and soaking wet, so the trees are loose. So the trees are loose, and the hurricane can blow them down. Then when you get the hurricane itself, it's pretty interesting. I mean, if you're going down the road at 8 or 9 miles an hour, and you roll the window down and stick your hand out, imagine that being the wind. I'm not suggesting you do that. Don't go hurting yourself. You get me in trouble. But if you can imagine that being the wind that's out in your front yard, and gusts higher than that, higher over 100 miles an hour, I keep dodging my eyes up looking at the time because I got to be careful not to run overtime and not have enough space to transfer this over to the computer. Anyhow, you know it's coming. The wind outside is horrible. You put your hand out the window when you go 90 miles an hour, you see what the winds are like. Imagine that's outside. You look out your door, it's raining like crazy, everything is blowing everywhere. And you can feel you can feel the whole house groaning and being stretched, being forced out of shape, being overloaded with the forces of the wind. You can hear it creaking. We had, for some reason, hurricanes most of the time seem to come at night, which really sucks because then you can hear it all, but you can't see anything. Oh, and something else. I'm going to break this right here. So sit tight. I'll be right back. Part 4 coming up. My remote.